everybody. Hope everyone's having a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, depending where you are.
What the
We're
fuck?
doing. What do you mean? What the fuck? Yeah. So we're playing more. Please be happy today.
Oh.
And so I think today we're going to be choosing our route. So everyone's got their trigger fingers ready for choosing the route. So I think it's probably gonna be really soon after we start stream, right?
It should be quite soon.
Okay,
I
so
will indicate what choice it is.
all right, well, get ready, guys. But yeah, welcome in to Mochi. Sorry you didn't end up being first. I saw you before stream started. Hi Azza, thank you for being first. Hi Fruity Undertaker. Welcome in Aiko. Welcome in Salem. Horizontal, what the hell are you talking about? I am normal. But yeah, so we should introduce ourselves, which would be very helpful if I had my character sheets up.
Every time.
Listen, I'm not used to this. I always forget. I need to pay attention to my character sheets. Anyway, my name is Nur. I voice Cello, Elijah, and Silver.
Hello, my name is Tenten Arse, and I do all narration, and I'm voicing Miho.
My name is Matcha, and I voice Armand, Cyrus, and Lena, and Cyrus, and Armand.
My name is Moji, and I will be voicing Aspen, Pippa, and Tommy.
And I'm Brevi, and I voice Juliet, Gwen, and Mr. Kim.
All right, let's get started.
Oh.
What?
Okay.
The afternoon of Aspen's departure. She's unusually quiet. Although she shows up to breakfast like normal, she barely says a word throughout the whole meal, other than things like, yes please, and no thanks. From the way she keeps checking her phone and messing with her face and clothes, I could tell something must be on her mind. I figure she's just antsy about her trip, so I don't bring it up or try to talk to her. Instead, Julia and I mostly chat until we're done eating and the dishes are cleaned up. The moment we're finished, Aspen perks up a little bit.
Miho, are you ready to go to the bus station?
Yeah, this way you have as much time as possible to get back.
Precisely. Thank you.
Of course. Before departing, Juliet approaches Aspen and gives her a hug. From the outside, I realized the hug looked kinda weird. People have come up with the strangest way to show how they care about each other.
You don't even know the half of it, Mimo.
Safe travels, Aspen. Let us know when you get there.
Will do. I won't have reception while traveling, but I'll send a message as soon as I'm home.
How long is your trip?
If it was by car, only a couple of hours. It'll be closer to 4 by bus, though. I'll take an early one on the way back tomorrow, just to be safe.
Ample reading time, it sounds like.
Oh, yes.
She drums her fingers on the book tucked into her bag.
Patricia and I have a lot of catching up to do.
Although she's still fidgety, it seems like Aspen's remembered how to speak. After spending an unusually long amount of time adjusting her skirt and hair, she finally faces me brightly.
Well, shall we be off, Miho?
Yep.
Goodbye, Aspen. Good night, Mio.
Bye!
Later. Aspen holds the front door open for me as we exit the library. Where exactly is the bus station?
Not far from my apartment. We'll pass it by on the way there.
Should we stop by and say hi to the cats? I'm sure they'd love to see me.
They're going to be angry enough at me for leaving for a day. I'm not sure if I want to traumatize them right before I go.
Dang it, I've never gotten along with cats.
Have you known many?
Only a few. Some of the strays have really good stories to tell. The two of us walk along in silence for a little bit before Aspen pokes me on the shoulder. I gotten more used to physical contact like that, but it still surprises me every time.
I like talking to an animal anyway. How do you do it?
You see, when you turn level 3, you get access to animal speaking. But you can also drink a potion for animal speak, Aspen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure.
Oh.
It was just something that I knew how to do, like making a den and banning bots. A lot of the time, you can just feel what they mean without saying it. I don't know how to put it.
No, that makes sense. There are some things that you can just can't put into words as much as you'd like to.
Exactly. I have that problem a lot. I bet you don't, though.
You'd lose that bet quite handily. Why, I'd say I struggle to put things into words more than anything.
Really? How? I thought you loved writing.
I do, usually. But it's not that simple. Sometimes you just can't use any old words. You have to use the right ones. And often that means going through lots and lots of wrong ones until you find them.
Oh, ain't that right? Ain't that right?
Yeah,
Man.
there?
Man.
I think it's easier the way animals do it.
It certainly sounds like it. I often wonder if I could talk to Percy and Byron, what they would have to say. Maybe they'd just complain about me not feeding them enough or something.
Do you want me to ask them?
It's tempting, but no thanks. As long as I don't know for a fact that they're saying rude things, I can convince myself that they're not. Or rather, like other cat in the box.
Cats like being in boxes, so they probably wouldn't be complaining.
Not quite what I meant, but I'll take it.
For a bit, Aspen hums quietly to herself while we walk. I don't know if she knows that I can hear her. Even though she's being more chatty, there's still something that seems a little off about Aspen. I can't quite place my finger on what it is, though. At one point, she checks her phone and starts to walk a little bit faster. Are you looking forward to going home? If she has to think about it, that kind of answers my question.
Yes, but like I said, I prefer only to do so for a day or two at a time.
'Cause of your parents?
A little. They're not really that bad, though. Mom's a worrywart and Dad isn't, so feels like she needs to worry enough for the both of them. It's not too bad over the phone, but when I'm there, Mom always tries to convince me to stay and move back. So I tell them they should move out here instead, and Mom goes into why they can't, and it's just tiresome.
Sounds like she cares about you a lot.
She does, and I love her too, don't get me wrong. It's more the town than them, or rather, the lack thereof.
What do you mean?
They live in the middle of nowhere. Mom there, countryside, and says she can't live without her backyard view and half a kilometer from the nearest neighbors. I, on the other hand, can't live without bookstores and coffee shops and high-speed internet.
So, that's why you moved to Wellington? For the Google Fiber?
I mean, wouldn't you? Sorry, you wouldn't know. That's why I moved to Wellington, yeah. It seemed like a necessity to make it as an author.
I try to put together the things she's been telling me into one big picture. Can you find the right words here?
Exactly. At least, that's what I thought before I came. Turns out that moving to a new city won't magically make you a better writer, or even a writer at all. Back when I was in school, I used to daydream about what life in the big city must be like. Busy and important things happen during the day, and then night falls, full of excitement and sparkling wonder. Instead, it's the Bell House and a tiny apartment the size of my living room back home. I thought if I put myself in this new environment, then I'd grow into the type of person who belonged there. I learned the hard way that places don't change who we are. Still, better to be struggling to make it in the city than doing nothing out in the boonies, I tell myself.
I think it sounds pretty nice. Peace and quiet. Nothing to have to worry about.
Yeah, too. That's exactly what my mom says. Trust me, it sounds better than hearing. It sounds better hearing about it than living it. Just like Wellington, or any city, I'd imagine. I'm sure even Wellington must seem like a bore compared to some of the places that you've been to, like Shanghai or Seoul.
Well, yeah, I still like it though. Those cities are too big for me. They're noisy and loud and smell bad, and anything could be dangerous. You have to be on guard your whole time. It's not like that here. The scariest thing I've seen was a movie.
True. I'm glad. I'm glad that you liked it enough to stay.
Me too. We're well into the city, pretty far past Cuba Street and the Bell House. Now that I've been there once, I also recognize Te Papa, the museum, or your mom, when we pass by it. By now, there isn't much I don't recognize. I've been all over this part of Wellington enough that I could probably get from here to Mount Victoria with my eyes closed. I memorized other cities the same way when I lived there, but for the most part, once I left, I forgot all about them. I'm not sure I'd ever be able to forget the streets of Wellington, though, even if I wanted to. Instead of humming, Aspen started fidgeting again as we walk, messing with her phone and purse and hat and glasses. I recognize the shops and apartment buildings from the walk to Aspen's house, so we can't be very far from the station. Are you nervous?
Me? No, why would I be? Do I seem nervous?
Hi, Thomas. Yeah, is it because of the bus? You don't have to worry about that. I've ridden them lots of times, and they've only broken down like once.
It's... I mean, no, I'm not nervous.
Okay. I've never seen Aspen more nervous, but I still don't push it. I can hear the smell. I can hear and smell the bus before I see it, and then it comes into view. There are 2 or 3 buses parked or passing through. I wonder if one of them is Aspen's.
Oh my god. New CG for bus.
Oh,
We stop across the street and she checks her phone again, then puts it away. You're not late, are you? I could have walked faster.
No, we're right on time. It'll be here any minute now.
Cool. I'll wait with you till it arrives. I start to cross the road, but I stop when I notice Aspen isn't following. Instead, she's still standing on the sidewalk, gripping the strap on her bag tightly. Aspen? I trot back to her, looking around to see if I'm missing something, but there's nothing, other than a couple people waiting far away at the station. Are you alright? She blinks a couple times, and then takes a deep, deep breath before facing me.
I have something to tell you.
The effect of her words is immediate. Thud, thud. Like she cast a spell, my heart starts to race. Whatever she's going to say must be why she was acting so weird all afternoon. Is it something bad? Is she not going to come back after all? Yeah? I barely managed to croak out an answer. I can't handle more heartbreak so soon.
It's something that I've been thinking about telling you for a long time. But it was one of those things where I wasn't sure how or when because I didn't know how you'd take it.
What could it even be? We just saw Juliet, so it can't be anything to do with her. Lena?
But then, after we all talked the other night, I realized that I should just say it anyway. Because no matter what, I know I would regret it more later if I didn't. Who knows how many more chances I might get. So I thought about it a lot, what the right words were, and I just couldn't figure it out. So I didn't prepare. I'm just saying this somehow and hoping. God, I'm actually saying this, aren't I?
The grip on her hat shifts, clutching it so tightly her knuckles are turning white. I feel frozen in place, not sure what to do or say. All I could do is stare, my heart feeling like it's going to explode out of my chest, while she looks down at the ground. Whispering something to herself, she wrings her hat in her hands before finally looking back at me.
There's something I want you to know. Yo, I used to think that there was no way someone could exist. Someone who looks at the world like you do and is honest about what you see, the good and the bad. And at the same time, someone who doesn't realize just how much she has to offer. Just how much you make people happy. But here you are. Maybe meeting you used up all of my luck for the rest of my life. But here you are. And I love you. And I just couldn't not keep not telling you that. In case maybe you love me too. I couldn't keep just hoping and wondering and not knowing, and now that I've said it, it feels like so good to have it out there. I love you, Miho. I love you. At first, I wasn't sure because everything seemed too perfect and unreal. I thought that I was just letting myself get carried away, like I always do. A silly little daydream. But it's true. It makes me feel silly how much already, when I think of how utterly stupid it always sounded to me when reading about those love at first sight. But how could it be anything else? I don't believe in coincidence, Miho. My life was changed the moment I saw you. I just didn't know it yet. Now I do. Now we both do. I love you, Miho. It's out there and I can't take it back.
Her words drift away into the air as we look at each other in silence. My head is TV static, buzzing with nothing to show. Not because it's empty for once, but because there's just too much for me to process. Aspen. In love. With me? Wind wisps by past my face as a bus rolls by, pulling into the station. I barely notice it, barely able to notice anything. Aspen is in love with me? I don't know what to say. But Aspen raises a finger to her lips.
won't tell me. I said it now before I leave for a reason. I thought you might say that. Tomorrow, whatever it is you feel, I'll hear it then.
I look at her face for some guide on how to respond, but she just gives me a smile, a weak, fragile smile. I left dumbfounded. I nod. Aspen is in love with me? Returning her hat to her head, Aspen sighs like she just finished a hard day's work.
Well, that's it. All I have to say, I suppose. As if that wasn't one of the most important things I've ever said in my life. That's my bus. So I'll see you tomorrow, Miho. And no matter what, it's okay. If we just carry on being friends like normal, I'm fine with that. More than fine. I'm just glad that I took the chance to tell you.
For how nervous she was a few minutes ago, she does seem a lot calmer now. I may as well be a statue as Aspen starts to walk past me, but then she pauses.
May I give you a goodbye hug?
That much I can respond to, at least. Yeah. We wrap our arms around each other, that weird human custom. Everything may have just changed, but she's still the same Aspen she was when we left the library. I try to listen for what she might be saying without words as she squeezes me tight. Finally, she steps away with a smile. It might be the most genuine one I've ever seen on her face.
Bye.
Bye. I make my way back to the library, like a zombie, my feet moving without really thinking about it. Aspen's words keep replaying over and over in my head. I get them, but I can't make sense of them. There's not a sound to be heard from the empty aisles when I enter. Julia having finished tidying up an hour or so that's passed since I left. After a quick glance around, I head towards the stairs. When I head up to the second floor, I spot a sliver of light from underneath Julia's bedroom door. I knock, and it opens just a moment later. Julia greets me with a calm smile at first, but the corners of her mouth falter as she looks at my face. I don't know what expression I'm making right now. I don't know what I'm even feeling to begin with.
Mio, did something happen?
Aspen says she's in love with me.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
Julia's not the type to be shocked easily. That's why I wanted to see her for advice. But she's even less surprised than I thought she would be.
She smelled the gaze a mile away.
Give me just a moment and I'll meet you in the study.
I nod and head over there, opening the door. As I walk into the darkness, I'm met by several pairs of eyes. Hi, Astarion. What? Just as startled as I am, several bats begin to flap their wings and noisily take flight, chittering overhead before most of them leave out the open window. The biggest one watches me a bit longer before departing as well. Bye, Astarion. By the time Julia enters the study and turns on the lamp, it's just me and her. Sorry I scared off all your bats. Oh, Astarion.
Oh, it's fine, don't worry. He'll be back before too long.
We settled down into the same seats as last time, with Julia behind her desk and me across from it.
So, Aspen,
She's gay.
Yeah. Gay. I wonder what Aspen's thinking right now. Is her head as much of a mess as mine? Probably, knowing her. We had just gotten to the bus station when she stopped and said it. She said she waited until just before she left so she didn't have to hear my feelings until tomorrow when she gets home.
and what are your feelings?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't ever thought about love, or someone being in love with me. I don't even know what it means. I know the word, but how does it feel? How would I know? The other day, you talked about how much you loved Cosette, and how much you didn't know much about love before then. This is a different love from that, right? She thinks to herself for a while, carefully considering her answer. I'm glad she does. At least one of us can stand back and think over this properly.
Yes and no. Of course, the bond between a parent and their child is different than that of two partners, but it comes from the same part of the heart, the part that you give away to somebody else. Love is when you care about another person so much that the feeling becomes bigger than you. When your life is more full and joyful for the presence of that person in it. I could throw out any number of cliches, but they'd be meaningless. What love means and how it feels are different for every person. To speak from my own experiences, love is like a flower. It starts as something tiny, but as it's nurtured and cared for, it grows. It reaches towards the sunlight and towards something better and blooms into something beautiful. Not all flowers grow at the same rate, and not all flowers look the same, but don't you agree that that's the joy of flowers, Miho?
I look up from the floor towards Juliet, who's watching me warmly. I like flowers, but I've never grown one before.
The same can be said for everyone at some point. But as long as you're willing to give it the time and patience that it deserves, even the tiniest seed can become something wonderful.
Juliet must see the confusion on my face because she touches my hand gently.
You should take some time to yourself, Miho. We can talk about it later tonight if you're ready. If you needed even more time, I'm sure Aspen would understand.
Yeah, I need to think about it. And sorry for waking you up, or keeping you up, whichever.
It's no trouble at all. I'm glad that you felt comfortable coming to me about this.
It was the first thing I did. Thanks, by the way. You've helped me out a lot.
Of course, it's my pleasure. It's what friends are for.
Juliet returns to bed and I go back to my room as well. I sit down on the floor, which is where I've done a lot of my best thinking lately. I lean against my bed and turn on the TV. There are a lot of shows and movies about love, aren't there? It's difficult to imagine that concept applying to me. I do know that I care about Aspen a lot. I like being around her. I like talking to her. I look forward to seeing her when she's not there. We're friends, but could we be more than that? I spent a few hours stewing in my thoughts and not coming to any conclusion. Love feels like something that couldn't and shouldn't apply to me. And yet, here I am. Hours pass as I consider the issue from every different angle. I end up with more questions than answers. Is it something I want? Is it something I could even do? What I choose to say to Aspen doesn't just affect me, but it affects her too. No matter what, both of our lives are about to change. And no matter what, I have to make a decision. I'm sure that I'll have some doubts either way, but I can't just ignore or run away from this. So after turning it over and over and over in my mind, I finally make a choice. Slowly, I stand up and head downstairs. My legs feel like jelly as they carry me towards another huge moment. My hands shake, but I hold on tightly to the banister as I head down to the kitchen where Juliet's making tea. There's a second mug on the table, full of steaming hot chocolate.
Right on time, like always. I was just about to call you.
I heard you get up a little while ago. I was still doing some thinking, though.
I see. So I take it that means you've made up your mind about Aspen then.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but I have.
Matters of the heart are rarely easy. Shall we sit?
Yeah. We take our usual seats, the third one conspicuously empty. I take a big gulp of my hot chocolate while Julia takes a small sip of tea. Wiping my mouth with the back of my hand, I lean back in my chair, take a deep breath, and nod. I've decided. Hi, chat.
Okay, so this is
This is the route choice. Who wants to fucking
Oh.
choose?
So are we gonna end up with Aspen, or man, I wonder who we're gonna end up with if it's not Aspen.
Hey, chat, who wants to choose?
Yeah.
Or
This
I
is
will
route.
choose.
or you will choose.
Yeah.
Threatening. That's very threatening.
Oh, give it about a minute.
Yeah.
Let's see if
Oh, Azza.
Azza!
Okay, your choice is our.
Aspen!
Aspen. Okay, we're going Aspen's route. We're gonna try things with Aspen.
I want to try things with Aspen. I know it'll be hard, but I want to try. I feel more sure of the words as I say them. Something about this decision feels right. I do want to try. Like Aspen said yesterday, it's out there now and I can't take it back. I know she's human, and so someday it'll hurt. But I can't just always run away from things that are painful, because if it hurts, that means it was important, doesn't it?
It certainly does. That's a wise way to think about it.
I know I don't know much about love or how to be in love with someone, but I'm willing to learn and try. As I speak, I feel something stir in my heart. That feeling of excitement that's pushed me forward so many times before me, kept me motivated in my lifelong search. Is that the feeling that could grow? I've always struggled to put a name to it. Could it be?
Sorry. Chat's taking me out.
No, I don't want Aspen to turn into a Bleach character. No,
Oh,
she's
no.
too sweet for that.
Trying is all anyone can ever ask of you, Aspen or otherwise. All you have to do is be yourself. That's who Aspen fell in love with, after all. And I forgive you for mom's owning me, by the way. I
Oh,
can't tell you how happy I am for both of you, truly.
yeah. Oh, right. As it begins to sink in, I feel a grin spreading across my face. Aspen is in love with me, and I think that maybe, just maybe, I could be in love with her too. Thanks for being my mom. I wish she was here so I could tell her right now. Tomorrow seems so far away.
Tomorrow.
Oh god.
I'm certain she's still thinking the same thing. Still, it is rather like her to say something so momentous and then disappear. It took quite a while for her to work up the courage to tell you.
With a wink, Juliet lifts her teacup.
Wouldn't be surprised if she borrowed the idea from some book or another.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Those fanfic tropes, you know.
Oh yeah.
Always get it.
Wait, you knew she was gonna tell me?
Come on.
Yeah, the Van Pussy.
Oh my god.
Ooh. Not exactly. I've known for a long time that she had feelings. I've known for a long time that she had feelings for me. She never told me outright. Aspen isn't particularly subtle.
I never noticed, but I guess I don't know what I would have been looking for either. Head empty.
All that's important is that she was able to tell you how she felt, and you were able to accept those feelings. And anything along the way was but a means to the same end.
Juliet's right, not just about Aspen, but about my life in general, as she herself pointed out not that long ago. I thought I had been all for nothing, pointless ever since Zhongyin died without my knowing it, as if I'd reached a dead end myself. But that was just the end of a chapter in my life, not the whole story, as Aspen would say. I thought my life as I knew it was ending, and maybe that was true. On the other hand, I feel like a new life for myself is just beginning, one that isn't so solitary and lonesome. Nearly every day I discover something new about myself. Things I used to think were impossible, at least for someone like me. Maybe not so different after all. I found a new place to belong, and someone new to share my life with, as much of it as I can. Aspen, who's seen so many different sides of me as I have of her, and who still chose to tell me she loved me, even though she never told anyone that before. I can't wait for her to get back, so we can find out what's next, together. With nothing more to really say about it until Aspen returns, Julie and I move on to talking about other things, like the library and recent events. I feel pleasantly warm, like I'm glowing as we sit there and chat. That sensation carries me through the rest of the evening and all the way to bed, where I lie for hours. Usually I'm frustrated when the chaos of my own thoughts, stop me from
Chaos.
falling asleep. But for the first time ever, excitement rather than fear is what keeps me awake. Instead of just waiting for the day to end, I close my eyes, looking forward to the dawn of tomorrow. For once, my struggle to fall asleep worked out in my favor. I sleep until later than usual the next morning, meaning I don't have to wait as long for Aspen's bus to arrive. I barely even woken up and I'm already thinking about her. Looking up at the ceiling, I can't help but smile. I wonder if she's thinking about me too. God, I'm so gay. I'm too full of nervous energy to stay in bed for too long, so I hop up and get ready in a hurry. In the kitchen, I figured Juliet must have already eaten, cleaned up, and gone to bed because I don't see any dishes or leftover food. Not tomorrow, today.
Today!
Oh god.
Whoa.
To my surprise, she comes downstairs just a minute after I do.
Good morning.
Hey, I didn't wake you up, did I?
No, not at all. Although I was upstairs, I thought I'd wait and have breakfast with you like usual.
Oh, thanks. Sorry for keeping you waiting. I kind of fell asleep late, so I slept in too.
Understandable. I'm sure you have lots on your mind.
You can say that again.
I'm sure you have lots on your mind.
Oh, okay. I take my seat at the table while Julia pokes through the fridge.
Are you hungry for anything in particular?
Not really. Maybe something light. I think I can finish a big meal right now. Chuckling, Juliet retrieves a couple pieces of fruit and some cheese.
Cheese?
Butterflies in your tummy?
Nah, I haven't eaten anything. I'm just nervous.
I'm sure I would be too in your position. Although Aspen had the difficult task of taking the first step, you have the luxury of being the one to respond.
That's true. Juliet sets a platter with slices of apples and oranges, as well as a few blocks of cheese on the table between us. And I idly munch on some fruit.
Actually, Juliet's my ideal woman. Just give me a
Make
block
sure
of
you
cheese.
finish all your cheese, you know.
Do you want to come wait at the station with me? I'm leaving after we're done eating these blocks of cheese.
Well, you better hurry up. These might take a while. They're pretty rich. I'll pass, but thank you. The two of you will have plenty to talk about on your own, I'm sure. But I imagine I'll see you both later tonight.
Definitely. Hopefully there's more cheese. The minutes pass.
Oh, there will
by.
be.
I lean slowly, especially after Juliet goes to bed with a block of cheese. But eventually it's late enough for me to leave.
Maybe we can get a Red Lobster later. Get one of those cheese biscuits.
The cheese fixes Red Lobster?
Yeah, like the
Oh.
cheese breads.
I've never been to Red Lobster. I burst up out of my seat, forcing myself not to walk too fast. As long as I'm walking, I'm doing something. If I get there too early, I have to wait, and I hate waiting, especially at Red Lobster.
Yeah.
Humming to myself, I follow the same route Aspen and I took yesterday. If I wanted to, I probably could have found a faster way, or even a longer way to kill more time. It's not worth risk getting lost, though. The closer I get to the station, the faster my heart races. The growing anticipation, the way I can't think about anything else. It reminds me of something. Something I haven't experienced in ages.
Red Lobster's cheddar bay biscuits. You haven't experienced it in ages.
It reminds me of the days in the forest towards the end of the time as a regular fox with my cheddar bay biscuits. The way I felt on the way to the clearing every day to see my person from Red Lobster. Back then it was different, of course. More instinct, less thinking, but it still pushed me forward. That was love, wasn't it? In my own way, just like Juliet said. Usually something like that would stop me in my tracks, but today it just makes me smile. Oh look, Red Lobster. My good mood carries me the rest of the way to the bus station. I pause at the intersection where we stood yesterday, where Aspen said everything. This spot will be special to me forever, I already know. I hurry across to the other side. There are a handful of other people waiting, standing, or leaning against the fence. I sit down on one of the empty benches, practically buzzing with anticipation. I watch the clock as it continues to tick away, until finally the scheduled minute comes, and there's no bus. I sigh, disappointed, but not too surprised, since when are buses ever exactly on time anyway? Soon, the bus is a couple minutes late, and then 5 minutes, and it gets harder and harder not to worry. Good thing she left early. I notice that I'm not alone. Some of the other people waiting are beginning to get agitated too. One person stands on the edge of the sidewalk, peering in either direction. A couple others, who have been waiting in the boarding zone since I got here, sit down on one of the benches near me and pull out their phones. One of them taps a few times, reads something, and then groans.
I told ya. Delayed. Says right here.
Not true.
Oh. Oh. I was looking at the stream and not the stream. I guess I'll leave it there. It says how long.
No, just says delayed due to vehicle issues. It blew up.
Dread
Blows up!
seizes me. With a shaky hand, I tap one of the travelers on the shoulder. Excuse me, which bus is it that's delayed?
That'd be Route 4. You waiting for it too?
My friend's on it. I don't know which, but she was supposed to be here 10 minutes ago.
I will. Probably the same one then. Bad luck, but it does happen every now and then. Hope you weren't in a hurry.
I was, actually. Do you know what they'll do? What happened to the people on the bus?
I will let the dead that blew up. I mean, I imagine the city will have to send someone out, count the bodies, figure out what was wrong, fix it, and send a replacement. I'm sure your friend will get here one way or another, but it could be hours. You might want to give them a call and find out where they are. Might be quicker for them to find their own ride home. Get an Uber or some shit.
I vault off the bench before he's even finished speaking,
What the
dashing
fuck?
back the way I came.
Fucking rude. Hey, man, good luck.
I barely hear him. Of all the buses to break down, of all the days for it to happen. As I run, I couldn't help but to think how unfair it is. For anyone else in the world, a couple-hour bus delay would be annoying, but that's it. But for me and Aspen, I don't even want to think about what it'd be like if she forgot me. After getting back to the library in record time, I practically crashed through the doors as I head upstairs. For the second day in a row, I knock on Juliet's bedroom door before having to bend over to catch my breath. It's been ages since I've run that long, and it shows. Juliet answers the door quickly.
Mio, what's wrong?
Aspen's bus still isn't here. Someone at the bus said one of them broke down on the way. What if it was hers? Wordlessly, Julia hurries to retrieve her phone. It looks weirdly out of place in her hands as she navigates through several screens, slower than Aspen would. Her face turns grim after only reading for a moment.
It seems you're right.
The confirmation just tightens the knot in my chest, and I just barely manage to crack out a question. What do we do?
How long do you have left?
2 hours. A little less.
She shouldn't be too far away. I'll try calling her.
It doesn't even ring, instead goes straight to voicemail. I look up at Juliet helplessly, trying to ignore the panic that'll overrun me if I let it.
She did say that she'd have poor reception on route. Here, Miho, keep trying. I'll be back in a moment.
She hands me the phone and shows me how to use it before hurrying into her bedroom. I hit the button again, staring at the small contact photo of Aspen that Juliet has saved. It's a picture of Aspen at the breakfast table, smiling awkwardly. Her voicemail message starts again, so I cancel and try again, and again, and again. But it's the same result every time. I end the call and start another one, for it must have been the 6th or 7th time.
Juliet? Is the...
My thumb is on the end button out of habit. I barely manage to stop myself from pressing it. Aspen! There's a loud burst of static.
You?
Aspen, it's me. Where are you? Julie comes back when she hears me, waiting anxiously by my side. Aspen says something again, but it's garbled by the connection. What? I can't hear you.
Let me...
Everything goes quiet, and for a terrible moment I'm afraid that the call has dropped.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Instead, I nearly drop the phone when I hear her voice come through again, much clearer this time.
Good. I can't move from this spot then. It's the only place I have service.
Where are you?
God, we're so close. I can literally see the city in the distance. Something's wrong with the bus. I don't know what. They said there's another one coming to pick us up, but I'm not sure when it's supposed to be here.
We only have 2 hours before.
Trust me, I know. I was hoping the replacement would be here sooner, but that's not going to happen.
Aspen, you said you're close. Do you know where exactly?
I don't, no. But there's just the one road into the city, and I can see it. And that's what I'll do, actually. Start walking towards the city, and hopefully I'll see the other bus on the way.
Will that work?
I don't know. I'm going to do it anyway.
Julia and I look at each other. I wonder if she has the same thought. I do. Okay, I'm coming too.
What? Coming where?
Wherever you are. You said it's just the one road, right? I'll meet you on it.
You'll. Okay, I understand.
I'll be there on time. I promise. From the other end of the line comes a very clear sound of Aspen sniffling.
Okay, I'll see you soon. As soon as I start walking, I'll probably lose reception again. I'll try and call you when I can.
Okay, I'm on my way. The line clicks dead and I try to hand Juliet back her phone, but she shakes her head.
Hold on to it. You can bring it back to me after you find her.
I nod. There's no time to talk about anything else. How do I get there? Juliet pulls up a map and shows me, pointing out where the library is.
I was going to try and find a taxi, but between traffic and everything else, I'm not sure it would be faster. It's so far away though, Miho. Are you sure you'll be alright?
I will. I have to be. I immediately make for the stairs, pausing for just a second. Thanks.
Thank me later. Together.
I nod and then I transform as I bolt out the front door. Foxes can't run as long as humans can, but they can run faster. As a Gumiho, maybe I can do both. Wind whips at my tails as I rush forward, channeling whatever willpower and determination I can into running. The map Julia gave me showed which roads to take to get out of the city, but I don't need roads. I run straight for the edge of town, dodging traffic, pedestrians, and more. Dogs bark as I race through their yards, and shocked people gape as I dash past them without paying any attention. I don't even know how long I run for. I just know that I don't stop. Even when my legs and chest start to ache, I keep going. A little pain now is nothing compared to what losing Aspen would be like. The buildings begin to thin out, even as traffic increases, and finally I find myself out of Wellington. Following the road, I race towards where Aspen must be. Cars and trees fly by, replacing the buildings with street signs. There are hills and forests that I'm sure that are beautiful as everything else that I've seen, but I hardly notice them at all. The longer I run, the more it starts to take its toll on me. Against my will, I can start my speed flagging. Each step taking just a little more effort than the last. I push this form to its absolute limit, and eventually it brings me to a halt. I change forms once again, gasping for air as I place my hands on my knees, trying to catch my breath. The run from the station back to the library winded me, and this was many times harder. But I can't stop moving. I have to keep going. I have to. Lungs on fire, with my legs feeling like lead, I make myself take another step, and then another. Mustering all my strength, I break into a jog, the fastest that I can manage. I keep my gaze on the horizon, hoping to see a glimpse of her, anything to set my heart and mind at ease. Anything. The sun begins to dip even lower, as if even the sky is reminding me that time is running out. My steps are leaden, and my mind abuzz with a wordless fear and worry. At first, I don't believe my eyes when I finally spot someone walking in my direction, far off in the distance. Please let it be her. A steady trot is all I can do now. I let even that slow to a normal walking pace. The other figure and I walk toward each other, but the sun shines in my face and obscures them from vision. Raising one hand to shield my eyes, I see a familiar hat, The glint of light on familiar glasses. I see Aspen running towards me. All I can do is stand there, overwhelmed with relief so intense that all I can do is shake. I made it. She's here.
Oh,
As she approaches, she also slows and then comes to a stop.
Mio.
I don't even know what to say. How can I respond? How can I put all that excitement, the worry, and the relief that she's made me feel in the past 24 hours into words? How do I say it? Silently, I close the distance between us. I can see her eyes searching mine, looking for an answer to the unspoken question. Overhead, the sun dips behind a cloud, done watching us for the day, and throwing a handful of colors into the sky as it leaves. I struggled to find words before, but this is different. Like Aspen said yesterday, not just any words will do. I stop, just an arm's length from Aspen, close enough to see the glint of tears hiding in her eyes.
I'm so worried.
Her voice is barely a whisper, but I can't hear anything else. Looking up into her eyes, I'm surprised to find the answer to my own question. One that I didn't know I wanted to ask until just now. One that requires more than words, or maybe less.
Ah, yay.
Oh. No.
I take the last step that separates us and lean forward to kiss Aspen. The marks of human affection have always seemed so strange and foreign to me, and maybe even unappealing. As I kiss her, I think I understand.
I never understand.
Oh god. Without hesitation, Aspen's hand raises to touch my face, holding me in place, as if I'd want to leave. She moves like she was waiting for this. Maybe she was. It's unlike anything I've ever felt before. The closeness, the warmth. I place my own hand against her wrist. I think maybe I now understand Aspen's fears better now, because I would also be content if this moment lasted forever. Even when we separate, Aspen's hands stay on my shoulder, keeping me close.
I see you thought about what I said.
And practically nothing else. Pulling me into a hug, Aspen rests her face against mine.
So, I wasn't the only one then.
She sighs contentedly.
There's so much more I want to say. But this is hardly the place to say it now, is it?
I nearly forgotten where we were. Not far from the side of the road, turning around, I look back at the city, which is starting to light up for the evening. Oh, right. That's kind of a long way home, you know? Aspen squeezes my hand.
I have all the time in the world.
Chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
Whoa.
Cute.
We're on Aspen's route.
Wee,
Oh,
teehee.
they're so cute.
My paws carry me across the wet leaves and mud. Fog has crept into the forest as stealthily as me. Glimpses of the sky are rare between the trees and the mist. The wild mountains and hills are hidden as well. Out of sight, but not mind. I run, filled by a sense of purpose. It lightens my steps and pulls me in the right direction. I'm going to see someone I care about very much, and who cares about me. Somehow, we found each other. My person. The path to follow is engraved in my body and mind, almost instinctual. A warm smile, a gentle touch, a kind word. These are the things that draw me forward. I slow down as I get closer to my destination and to the silhouette waiting for me. It's impossibly bright as I approach, my heart pounding in anticipation, like the sun has descended to greet my person too. It matches the feeling in my chest, warming my soul and fur. So bright that when my person turns around, stooping low to greet me, all light is all I can see. But I don't need to see, only hear, feel, think.
Feel, think, hear.
That voice that I could never forget.
Eveline's.
Little fox, where is your home? I awake with a yawn, head on my pillow, as the dream fades away. It's been a long time since I've dreamt about the forest. It used to happen a lot, especially when my travels first took me out of Korea, but over time they stopped. The dreams are always the same. I'm somewhere in the woods, running to the clearing where I'd meet Jongin. There, they'd greet me in the same familiar way. Somehow, something was different about it this time, though. Of course, my first thing on my mind after my dream is Aspen. I have a feeling that that's how most of my mornings are going to start from now on. My lips tingle as I recall our kiss from yesterday. My first kiss ever. The first of many, I promised Aspen. Damn, bitch.
Damn.
Although the stressful part was over, the rest of the day was equally exhausting. By the time we got back to Aspen's bus to get our stuff, the replacement bus had finally showed up and took us back to the city. From there, we dropped off Aspen's things at her apartment before going back to the library to give Juliet the good news. My legs felt like they were both going to fall off, and both Aspen and I agreed to get some rest. Even the anticipation of seeing her today couldn't keep me up, and I feel well rested and excited. But as I roll onto my back, I start to notice something weird. It's like an itch, but in my mind, something irritating and out of reach, and out of me? It takes me a moment, but I realize that it's my bead. I know it the same way that I knew how to run and hunt and dig. Tugging at the baubles around my neck, there's an obvious change. Of all the beads on my necklace, only one is special. Most are just pretty things I collected and stuck on there. Only one has been there with me from the moment I became a gumiho, became me. Since then, it's stayed exactly the same, no matter how many times I throw or drop it or lose it. The necklace comes back to me with a single bead unharmed. Not a single scratch or chip or blemish. Until today. Instead of a normal pale white, it started to shine. It's barely brighter than usual, but I noticed in an instant. In fact, it's almost as if I hold up my necklace to be sure. It's glowing. Just barely, but it is. I rub my thumb over the familiar surface, but it doesn't feel any different on the outside. I'm not sure what it means, but it has to be related to yesterday. There's no other way to it could pick today of all days to change. Maybe Aspen was onto something. Maybe she said something there's no such... Maybe Aspen was onto something when she said there's no such thing as coincidence. Either way, it's magic, and magic I can't control. My bead has always been a part of me, but it's something that I can only partially understand, and in that wordless animal way I described to Aspen. When the time comes, wherever it is that it's coming, I just have to trust that I'll know what to do. Right now, it doesn't matter, because sooner, something much more important is going to happen, and sooner. Aspen will be here! She's probably here already, so I need to get ready. Damn, bitch. Going through my quick morning routine, I just feel more energized than ever. For once, I'm not nervous, just excited. Going through my As soon as I open my bedroom door, I can hear the familiar murmur of conversation in the kitchen. Even the short walk downstairs is enough time to let my heart race. I assume Juliet's in the kitchen when I get there, but I only have eyes for Aspen.
Damn.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, well, rip
She
Juliet.
looks over from her seat at the table, and the instant she sees me, her face lights up. It nearly stops me in my tracks. I've seen Aspen smile 1,000 times by now, but never like this. Never for me and me alone.
Juliet's just like, damn, not even all over me, okay.
I can't help but do the same.
Good morning, mijo.
Morning! It's our usual greeting, but it feels brand new. I wonder if all the little things will.
Good morning. Did you sleep well, Mio?
Like a rock. I pull my chair closer to Aspen's than usual as I take my seat and fill my plate.
We were just talking about how tired you must be. I wouldn't have been surprised if you slept until the afternoon.
No way. Then I wouldn't get to see you at breakfast. Flustered, Aspen doesn't seem to know how to respond. Now that I know the feelings she was hiding, a lot of the other times where that's happened made more sense. Huh. I giggle as she looks torn between being pleased and embarrassed.
That would be quite a shame, yes. But understandable after you ran across half of Wellington yesterday.
Was it really? I didn't feel like it. But maybe that's why I'm so hungry.
Feel free to help yourself to what's left. Aspen and I have already eaten.
We wanted to wait. but
It's fine. I don't mind. Around now is usually when Aspen would start to leave for work, but it's Juliet who stands up first.
I must say, I'm rather sleepy myself. Would either of you mind if I retired a bit early today and get out of this room?
No. Aspen and I can clean up, right?
yeah, right. I mean, not at all.
Wish you both good night then. Goodbye.
Good night!
Bye.
She's sprinting out of the room. Out.
We both watch as Julie departs before turning to face each other again. As soon as both of our eyes meet, Aspen looks away again, blushing but laughing. What is it? What's funny?
Nothing's funny. It's just. It's hard to believe. I mean, us. You and me. You can't imagine how many times I've sat at this table wishing we were together like this.
Oh. That warm, fuzzy feeling from before takes over my face. The one that goes with the realization of how special I am to her. How, out of everyone in the world, I'm the one she feels this way about.
And now,
Here we are.
yes, here we are.
Everything is the same, but everything is different now, too. It's just as confusing as it is exciting. Now that I'm here alone with her, I'm not sure how to act. Aspen, fiddling with a ribbon, seems like she's waiting for me to go first. Problem is, I'm not sure what to say. I'm not sure how I should talk to her differently now, or if I even should, or anything, really. With just the two of us, I'm suddenly super aware of how out of depth I am. But I can't let the silence stretch on for too long. I have to say something. So hey.
I think.
Both of us start and stop talking at the same time. I pause, waiting for her to keep going. And then she does the same thing for me. We both laugh together a moment later, and somehow that breaks the ice. It feels like a reassurance before I can even ask for one. You go.
Oh, first.
Chokes the both of them. If that's what it takes. I was going to say that, I don't really know much about this whole dating thing, so if there's...
Game? There
Game?
goes.
Aspen shakes her head and puts a finger on my lips to shush me. Damn.
Damn.
Shush. That's exactly what I was going to say, Miho. It's all so new to me as well.
She removes her hand, looking at it as if she just now realized what she did. Not that I mind.
Yay.
So, perhaps we can figure it out together.
Together. I try out the new word for myself. Aspen and me, together. Yeah, I like that. We can both just do what feels right.
I like the sound of that too.
Aspen's sleeve rustles as she takes my hand, her fingers gently intertwining with mine. It's cool to the touch. That feels right. Her soft actions make me feel braver. And so does this. I lean forward to kiss her, just for a moment, because a moment may as well be an hour. I'm not sure it'd ever be enough.
Say that we're off to a good start.
Me too! Just being near each other already feels more meaningful and exciting. Since it's just the beginning, I can't see where things go from here. Of course, I'll have to wait a little bit longer. With her free hand, Aspen checks her phone and I see her frown in response. Time to go?
Unfortunately.
She stands up and I stand with her, still linked by our hands. It feels almost unfair that daily life, with all its obligation, still matters right now. Aspen hasn't even left yet, but I'm already wanting her to come back.
I wish I could stay here with you longer, though.
Me too. Maybe I'll just come buy a bunch of drinks at the Bell House so I could talk to you at the counter.
Perfect. I can tell my boss I was just engaging with customers like she wants us to.
Both of us laugh again, and Aspen steps forward to lay her head on my shoulder. I lean my head against hers, surprised at how soft her hair is against my cheek.
I really will be thinking of you all day, counting down the hours.
Same. I couldn't think about anything else, even if I wanted to. Normally, I think twice about saying something so embarrassing, but it actually feels pretty good right now. See, I told you we'd had blocks of cheese. We walk together to the front door, taking as long as possible. See you soon.
Not soon enough.
Stand in the doorway as Aspen slowly walks backwards, holding onto my hand until the very end. She looks into my eyes.
Oh,
The tips of her fingers linger against mine, and where they touch, it feels electric. I think of the sproutling that Juliet used to describe love and the way it grows. Maybe that word means different things to Aspen and me right now, but I know without a doubt that I want to learn all of them. I want to take a chance with her. I want to try. I love you too. And I mean it. We'd say that just for a little longer, not need to say anything else. Then, finally, Aspen turns around and begins to walk down the hill, taking my heart with her.
This is so insufferable.
Oh, this is so gay.
This is like the insufferable like first like week of a relationship everyone goes through, and I'm just like, oh man, I know exactly who these are.
Just like Aspen, I end up counting down the hours until her shift will be over. Too impatient to make it to the end, I leave early and reach the bathhouse around the time that they'll be closing for the night.
Oh my god.
It's not dark out yet. Even from a distance, the inside of the Bell House looks warm and inviting. As I pass by the front window on my way to the door, I spot Aspen, who doesn't notice me. She's helping one of the coworkers stack the chairs on the tables, and when they finish with that, she goes to organize the sweetener section. While she's doing that, a different coworker comes over and shows her 2 different loaves of bread, and she thinks for a moment before pointing at one. In the time it takes the other staff to complete a task, Aspen finishes 3, even with people coming up to ask her questions too. Of course, I have no idea what they're talking about, but even from here on the outside of the store, I can see why they want her to run the new Bell House. Leaning against the wall of the cafe, I wait. Most of Aspen's coworkers leave before she does, and it's several minutes before she finally walks out the door at a brisk pace, going right past me. Aspen! Spinning around, she quickly goes from surprise to smiling.
Miho, I was just thinking about you. Although it's been true all day.
Come on.
I got tired of waiting for you at the library, so I decided to come down here so I could see you even sooner. That earns me a hug and a kiss on the cheek.
I love you. Never meant to.
Once or twice, but I don't think I'll get tired of hearing it.
Good. Because I don't get tired of saying it.
Get a room.
Good lord.
You're in public.
Aspen leaves
Ladies,
her arm.
it's been a day.
It's been 1 day.
Aspen leaves her arm with mine, snuggling against my shoulder. Normally when somebody gets so close to me or touches me, my first instinct is to jump away, but not with Aspen. It's only the first day, but I surprised myself with how much I'm enjoying being Aspen's girlfriend. If she hadn't told me her feelings, I probably never would have realized on my own. But once I opened myself up to the idea, I realized that almost all of my favorite memories are with Aspen.
Okay, well, fuck Juliet, I guess.
When I'm with her,
girl, what the fuck?
when I'm with her, I just have fun. Being around her cheers me up, even if I was a good mood to begin with. I wonder if it's the same for her. I hope so, since just being myself has always seemed to make her laugh and smile. I never would have imagined that I'd be able to do that to someone, that they could feel the same way about me, or that I could feel it too. I ain't never been so glad to be wrong. So, what do you want to do now?
Well, I need to go home to change and take care of the cats. Would you like to come over? I can make us dinner for later too, if you haven't eaten already.
Sure, even if I had, I'd make room for that.
Well then, shall we?
Arm in arm, Aspen proudly leads the way to her apartment.
First date? Wow.
First date, taking her back home.
Yeah,
Okay, just
like-
U-Haul.
You haul what? She doesn't own shit!
Exactly. Easiest U-Haul in history.
The moment she starts to unlock the door, the sound of meowing and scratching claws come from the other side startup. They're excited to see you too, huh?
Excited to be fed, more like it. Shush, scooch boys.
The cats run around underfoot as Aspen steps aside, with me following behind. As soon as they notice me, the meowing stops and they both scurry away. Oh, how rude.
Better get used to Miho, you two. You're gonna be seeing her around a lot more.
Aspen puts her hands on her hips and talks sternly to the sulking cats. They both meow in frustrated response until Aspen sighs.
Now, let's get you fed.
She grabs a jug of cat food from the top of the fridge. The rattling sound makes the cats brave enough to run past me and go harass Aspen some more.
Go ahead, make yourself at home, Miho. I'm gonna take care of them and then freshen up, so I'll be a minute.
Okay, take your time. I sit down at the edge of Aspen's bed, doing my best not to disrupt the neatly made sheets. Aspen sets the bowls of cat food on the floor near the door, and the cats position themselves so they can watch me while they eat. Rolling her eyes, Aspen steps over to the restroom.
So dramatic. I wonder who they get that from. Anyway, be right back.
It isn't long before the sound of the running shower starts. I look around the apartment, paying close attention to the last time I was here. Because it's so small, it feels like there's something of Aspen's personality in every corner, from the glittering lights strung across the ceiling to the stuffed animals on the bed behind me. I recognize some of the books on the shelves and desk from the library. I'm sure there's a story behind each and every decoration. I'll probably hear more than a few of them eventually. After the cats finish eating, they skulk into the room and sit down across from me, glaring. I wonder if something about my ears and tail makes them mad. Guess what? I transfer over to a fox right in front of them, spreading my tails out like a fan. I don't growl or anything, but I lock eyes with each cat in turn. Immediately, they both yowl and run for the bed, tripping over each other as they rush to hide, fur puffing out like clouds. I cackle to myself as I change back and sit down again. Cats are always fun to tease, some are particular just too good to pass up. Before long, Aspen comes out, looking refreshed. She surveys the room just like I did.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I guess there's not a whole lot to do here, is there?
It's fine. It wasn't that long. I was just being nosy admiring all your stuff.
Be as nosy as you'd like. I'm gonna start a dinner.
Okay, let me know if you need any help.
Thanks, but just the company is enough. It won't be anything very fancy. I'm much better at making drinks than food.
Don't you make food at the Bell House too?
Not really. We have bakers who come in earlier than I do to prepare most of it. I just have to heat things up and serve them. Unlike our beverages, which I make from scratch. Speaking of which, would you like some coffee or hot cocoa? I'll be making some for myself.
It's sunset. Why would I have coffee?
Sure.
Sure,
Why not?
I'll have whatever you have.
That's easy enough. Triple espresso. Here we go.
Uh,
Now, yeah.
Oh.
Aspen moves around the tiny cooking area. Calling it a kitchen would be a stretch, with the same kind of graceful confidence that I've seen her use when working at the Bell House. I guess some of the tasks are the same. She starts to fill a pitcher with water from the sink while scooping coffee grounds into the machine at the same time. When the pitcher is ready, she swaps it out with another pot. This one for cooking.
Oh, she knows how to make coffee. A rarity. A rarity in these streams.
Yeah, that fills up while she finishes getting the coffee set up and brewing. It's not a red color. Then she starts pulling ingredients from out the few cabinets that line the cooking area. What are you gonna make?
I'm really sure what it's called. It's a dish Mum used to make. It was one of the first things that I learned how to cook, because it's always reminded me of home. And it's easy to make. Is there anything like that for you? A meal that tastes like home?
Nah, not really. Julie asked me that before too. I don't know if I ever had a full meal while I was in Korea, just since I just stole what I needed to survive.
Oh, right. I should have remembered that you...
Aspen bites her lip, looking unsure of how to phrase whatever she was going to say. Lips like that, it's fine. I don't mind talking about it, especially not with you.
If you're sure. I don't want to bring up anything that's difficult for you to talk about.
Don't worry, you won't. There's nothing like that, honestly. Most of it blurred together over time, so be as nosy as you want.
I'll be sure to keep that in mind.
Pile of ingredients Aspen stacks up has pasta, a few different kinds of vegetables, and a few different cans.
Would you mind giving me a hand, actually? Do you think you could chop up these vegetables for me?
Sure, just show me how. Do you really trust me with a knife?
Uh-oh.
No.
Aspen demonstrates how to hold the knife, and then, covering my hand with hers, guides me through the motion to cut the veggies.
Don't worry too much about making them all the same size. Close enough is fine.
That's good, because I think same size might be impossible. In the time it takes to chop up a couple of zucchini and onions, Aspen takes care of everything else.
Are these ready?
As they'll ever be. I pass the cutting board to Aspen, being careful not to spill. In the end, most of the chunks didn't even turn out the same shape, much less size, but Aspen tosses them into the hot pan anyway, and before long a delicious aroma fills the room. That smells amazing.
Hopefully it'll taste good too.
I don't have any doubts myself, but I don't think Aspen will be satisfied until the dish is done. Since she seems focused on watching the sauteing veggies and boiling pasta, I don't talk so I don't distract her. A few minutes later, Aspen combines everything into one pan, mixing it all together with a wooden spoon. She dishes out a couple spoonfuls onto a pair of plastic plates and hands me one, along with a fork.
Bon apple teeth.
Oh my
I
god.
wish there was a table we could sit at. I usually just eat at my desk. You can have that spot, and I'll take the bed.
It's fine. I can sit on the floor. She's like, me for real, for real.
The floor?
Yeah, it's where I watch TV in my room, too.
I knew that.
We both settle down on the ground, setting our plates in our laps. Noticing something, Aspen leans to the side.
What are you two doing back there?
I lean over to peek under the bed, too. 4 angry green eyes stare at me from the farthest, darkest corner. Feigning innocence, I sit back up. Huh, wonder what their problem is.
Not used to having company. It's been a long time since they've met anyone aside from Juliet.
That must be it. I don't mention that it might have something to do with it too, but hey, the cat started it. Grabbing my fork, I turn my attention back to dinner. I try to make sure that a little bit of everything in my first bite. It's still hot off the stove, so I have to blow it on it to cool off. Aspen watches anxiously while I chew, waiting to start eating her own meal.
Well, how is it?
Whoa, this... No, I need to find a better way to describe it than usual. It's delicious.
Really? I'm glad you think so.
Really, really. The food itself is good, but it tastes even better knowing that Aspen made it. I scarfed out my whole plate and to get up for seconds. After cleaning my plate a second time, I finally set it aside along with my fork.
Did you have enough? There's still more if you want.
I'm good, thanks though. That was seriously great. Thanks for making it.
I'm just happy to hear you enjoyed it. It's been ages since I've cooked for anyone other than myself.
It's one of the best meals I've ever had.
That just means you need to eat more good meals. There are lots of restaurants here in Welly that I've wanted to try, but didn't want to go alone. Maybe we can visit some of those together.
Sure, I'm not sure if I like any of them as much as this, though. Laughing, Aspen puts her plate across and scoots closer to me, laying her head on my shoulder again. Her hand finds mine on the floor and she loosely wraps her fingers around mine.
I'm thinking I'm going to get used to you flattering me, but I still love it every time.
It's been a single day, Aspen.
It's true. I just saying what I think.
I know. That's one of the things that I love about you. One of many, many things. I've never felt anything but ordinary, as much as I'd like to, and as much as I'd like to pretend I wasn't. But you really do make me feel otherwise. I'm so happy I met you, Miho. I hope you don't get tired of hearing that.
Never.
Okay, wrap it up, high schoolers.
Even though things have changed so much, the morning routine is more or less the same. Three of us chit-chat about our lives and mundane things until we finish eating. After pushing her empty plate away, Aspen leans in.
So, Miho, there's something I've been thinking about.
Did you buy a ring?
No! No!
And I understand if this is something you wouldn't even want to consider.
Is it a ring?
But have you ever thought about finding a way to your magic?
Juliet also turns to look at me, putting me on the spot. Hi, Juliet.
Hello, this is my library, you know.
Not that I can remember. That's like asking if you ever thought about finding a way to stop your nose from working.
I see. That might be the case.
Aspen, you can't just ask people to stop using their magic. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure if I've ever heard of such a thing either, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
I was just thinking about the other day and about how dreadful it all was to go through. Of course, I don't want to speak for Miho. I know that's much more complicated than just that. But I thought I might bring up the idea, at least.
You got a point. Not having to worry about people forgetting me would be a huge relief.
Right? I thought you might agree.
I look at Juliet, expecting her to give an opinion, but she doesn't offer one. Damn it. It's true that life would be a lot easier without my magic. Well, half true.
Julie's just too busy eating her cheese.
This life would be easier, but the life I used to lead, I couldn't have survived without it.
It's purely hypothetical right now, anyway. All we know, it might be impossible. So, no need to think too much about it.
I don't think very much. It's worth thinking
Yeah.
about, though.
One of the things I love about you.
Oh. Huh. The only two people who actually remember me are in this room right now. All the people I met here in Welly, I couldn't really call them my friends, as much as I liked spending time with them. Oh, you're calling it Welly now, too. Every time we see each other is the first time as far as they're concerned. Maybe that wasn't so bad when I was still on the fence about whether I'd even want to stay in town or not. And now that I've been here a while, long enough to build something worth missing, I wish I could make those connections into something more secure. Even if there's nothing I can do about my magic, I can at least try to figure out a way to maintain friendships with others too, not just Aspen and Juliet. It couldn't hurt to find out, right? It's not like I have anything. It's not like I have to go through with it or anything if I don't want to.
Exactly. Simply being informed is never a bad idea.
So, does that mean you have an idea?
Well, not quite, but I'd be happy to start doing some research on the topic. If we're going to find anything, it's likely to be in a book. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's reading.
Good luck with that. Let me know what I can do to help.
What cheese do you think we should get next? I'm thinking maybe a pepper jack or a monster. That's kind of like monster. It's kind of funny.
Get the monster cheese.
Oh, the voices are back. I'm sorry. Were you talking about something? I'd be glad to lend a hand as well with whatever this is. Perhaps I can find someone who'd be knowledgeable about Gumiho.
That kind of cheese.
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think so. But anyway, myth and folklore are often at odds with reality, so it can be difficult to discern what's true and what isn't. I guess I'm never alone here, am I?
You sure aren't.
Between Asterion and the voices.
Someone who'd know about Gumiho, huh? One person comes to mind, but I'm not sure how willing she'd be to help. I still haven't mentioned the other Gumiho I met, to Aspen and Juliet. In my head, I started calling her Silver the Hedgehog. It just feels wrong somehow. If someone had told other people when I was around, I would have been furious with them. I would have made hiding and stealing a whole lot harder too. So as a fellow Gumiho, I kept Silver the Hedgehog's existence a secret from everyone else so far. For all I know, there could be more than just Silver the Hedgehog. There could be a whole community of Gumiho here in Wellington, and I'd have no idea. I don't think that's the case though. Besides, Silver the Hedgehog seems unhappy enough with one intruder on her territory as it is. The Iblis trigger.
Oh.
That's something else I could ask her. I don't know when or where, but somehow I know I haven't seen the last of her. For now, I just sit back and listen to Aspen and Julia discuss various books and cheeses and theories to start with. I feel like I should be more involved. It's my magic after all, but this is one area where I can't really contribute. I can't stay out of it forever and let them take care of me again, though. I have to try something on my own, too. I can't just refuse to participate in my own future. As it gets closer to the time for Aspen to leave, Julia checks the clock and then stands up. Off to bed?
Not yet, actually. Would you mind staying just a moment longer, Aspen? I have something I'd like to give Miho.
Your ring?
Well, it's somewhat related to what we were just talking about. Not today, Miho.
Oh, but we were having such a great conversation about how Bree is going extinct.
Oh.
What?
Very sad, isn't it?
For me? What is it? Is it Bree?
Unfortunately, no, but you'll see. I'll be right back.
Save the brie for a special occasion.
Disappearing upstairs, I hear Julia enter her study for a moment before returning with a small, nicely wrapped box.
It's a fancy wine cheese. It's one of my favorites, actually. There's no particular occasion, but still, I felt like wrapping it.
Julia hands me the package, which I take carefully. It's not heavy, but it's not light either. I turn it over and over, examining. I've never got a gift before. Clearing her throat, Aspen seems a bit impatient.
Don't just keep us in suspense.
Okay. I tear off the paper that Julia so beautifully wrapped the package with, revealing... Oh, wow. It's a phone. One that I recognize.
Oh, wow, what kind?
is the same as Aspen's.
Okay.
What a coincidence, right?
Purely a coincidence. No, I consulted Aspen to make sure I got the same one. I thought it would be best if she can help show you how to use it.
Wow, phone cheese.
I'm a little behind the times on things like devices. I did get you a nice phone case that looks like a piece of cheddar, though.
Oh my god, it does look like cheddar! As gently as I can, I open the box and take out the phone itself and the phone case. It's sleek and shiny and cold to the touch. I hold it in both hands to make sure I don't drop it. Thank you, really. This is the nicest thing I've ever owned.
Think nothing of it.
I don't think.
I know, Miho. As you have more loved ones and responsibilities, it's important that you're able to stay in touch. In fact, this is what gave me the idea in the first place. Like Aspen, I'd also been thinking about your magic and the ways that it might work. So, I wonder... would seeing someone in a video call serve to refresh someone's memory of you? Or is it necessary to see each other in person? Oh, Juliet, I was thinking the same thing, girl.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Time to
Piece of cheese.
experiment with Lena. It's time to play mind games with her.
I can't believe I've never thought to ask that before.
Neither Aspen or I would want to give along memories of Miho in case it turns out not to work, so we'd need to find someone else to participate in our little experiment. Maybe that's a co-worker of yours, Aspen?
Yes, it's time
Maybe.
to play mind games.
With that in mind, I'm not sure who to ask. It is a harmless trial, but still a bit much to ask of a total stranger to mess with it. Not for more.
Willing to try something weird without hesitation. I'll text Lena.
The fact you guys predicted it is so
Yeah.
fucking funny to me.
It's
Uh-huh.
She's perfect.
obvious.
While Aspen does that, I stare at the device in my hands. Because something so small really solves so many of my problems. It wouldn't be a perfect solution, but it would be a lot better than nothing if this works. Even if not, I won't let that change my earlier decision to find some way to be remembered by the people I've met. Just like researching my magic, I can't leave everything to someone else or hope for an easy way out.
All right. Lena says that she's willing to give it a go. I had told her I'd explain more when I saw her. Usually, you'd think that those would happen. Those would happen in the other order. But this is Lena we're talking about. Miho, would you like to come down to the Bell House to see her with me?
Sure, as long as Julia doesn't mind me leaving the library.
By all means, I'm eager to see if this works as well.
So, it's settled then. Shall we be off, Miho?
Lena's waiting for us outside the Bell House when we arrive. Hey, Lena.
Lena?
Oh! No, that was all in character. Morning, boss!
Hey, Lena.
So you're the person with the weird memory thing, right?
Yep, that's me.
Who are you?
I already introduced myself to Lena more times than I can count. Still, what's one more? This will be a great start to my new goal of making sure the other people I've gotten to know don't keep forgetting me. I'm Miho. We've met before, actually. At tennis and at the Bell House and a few other times too.
I was at tennis? Oh shit! Whoa! What a revelation! Huh? Okay, makes sense to me. So who are you and how do we do this?
Really? That's it?
What you mean?
I would have thought you'd take more convincing than that.
Convincing of what?
Well, Never mind. I guess I'm not surprised.
Nah, it lines up. I remember doing stuff with Mimo, this Miho lady mentioned, but I couldn't think of who I was with besides like the hottie with the body that be in the ground. Now I can't stop trying to remember that and devote that brain power to something else.
Yes, well, I'm sure you'll need it. So, let's see.
What do I need? Oh yeah, I just need to get Mino's number, right? And then video call her tonight. Who is that?
Right. Anytime should be fine as long as it before this time tomorrow.
When's tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Like in 12 to 24 hours. Anyway, Miho can come with me again in the morning and we'll see if you know who she is.
Who? Yeah, you got it. I'll try extra hard to remember not to forget.
Sure. I'm not sure it works like that, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm supposed to be at work, aren't I? You want a coffee with that, or?
Yes, sure, why not?
Yo, we are near the shore. It's over there.
We
God.
definitely are.
You want to go swimming tonight?
No, I'm alright. I think Miho and I have other plans.
Who?
Exactly.
Are we sure I have them everything?
You got it.
The game not playing the next line or is near to
Okay.
dying?
Yeah, I'm dying.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it is, and you just didn't try hard enough. Like, yeah.
Placing the finger on either temple, Lena closes her eyes and hums deeply.
Memory.
Does that help?
Help what? Don't interrupt.
Lena hums for a little longer and then opens her eyes with a wink and a thumbs up.
I remember how to play Sonic the Hedgehog. You gotta go to the right, and that's about it.
Uh-huh.
It's my secret technique.
Whoa! If that works, maybe you could teach Aspen too.
Play
Yeah,
Sonic?
we could get a speedrunning community going here.
Uh-huh. I think I'm alright, actually.
But
Sonic
what if
isn't
it's really
anything.
useful?
That's a very big if.
My favorite character is Storm the Albatross, because he's got big wings, but he's got gloves over him. Whatever. I'll see you tomorrow and maybe call one of you before that time. I don't know who, but I'll remember all of this. Anyway, Mamo, what's your number?
It's
Can't
I pull out the
believe I'm
phone.
getting a girl's number so easily.
I
Wow.
pull out the phone Julia gave me, inspecting it closely. I'm not sure where it is. Shouldn't it be written somewhere? I look around at the edges, trying to find anything that seems fitting.
Let's do this instead. Miho, may I see your phone?
I hand the device to Aspen. She wipes one finger up and begins to quickly tap through the screens. Whoa, you're a pro at this. Julie's a lot slower whenever she uses hers.
I'm not sure that Juliet is the right standard. She still prefers a landline when she can.
Whoa.
Okay, here. I saved Lena's number for you, Miho. Now you can call her, so she can have your number.
Right. Okay, let's see. Taking my phone back, I try to remember how to do that. Lena comes over and watches from behind Aspen.
What you doing? New phone? Who
You're,
this?
Moving away, Aspen brushes imaginary dirt off her shoulder.
you're in my bubble. Please step
Whoa,
away.
do you make force fields? Pop. I make
Thank you.
force field breaking fingers. Also, I might have dropped my phone down a well yesterday, so I'll have to go find it if we're gonna do this like mission thing. It's the same kind Aspen has, right?
Yep, this is the first phone I've owned.
Oh. Wow, really? So how do you check Twiller or Spaceface or Zillow?
What are those? Stumbling backwards, Lena seems like she's at a loss for words, which might be a first for her. I guess she does have something in common with Aspen.
Wow, you really have a lot of catching up to do. I'll help you get set up when I call you eventually after I find my phone, hopefully by tonight, but if not, maybe next week. It's like you cannot not have a Twiller, even though it's terrible. I hate it. But you have to have it. Space Face, I don't know about you, everyone, it's so they don't think you're dead.
Okay, I think that's enough, Lena.
Like I deleted my account for 2 days. My family is like, "What happened to you?" You never let me finish talking, and neither do I.
Well, you do have to go to work.
What?
I mean, listen, you would never finish talking if I didn't stop you.
Yo, that's the way I want it to be, and that's not true.
For a second, Lena seems pretty serious, but then she thinks about it for a second.
Well, maybe a little. But you know, like what I was saying, if you want to play like Sonic Riders sometime, like I'm like the best at it. Like my little brother from like Canada said, you do pretty good, and I couldn't see anybody better at this game than you. But just a little. Anyway, it's fine. I'll tell Miyono when I talk to her tonight after the well trip. See you guys later. I'm gonna go get my swimming gear on.
Sure. I'm going to be, at work, where you should probably be in like 2
Oh
minutes.
shit!
I'll see you soon.
There's like a huge line. Whoops. Oh, yeah, that's later, isn't it? Like 2
Yeah,
minutes.
just a little bit. Yeah.
Lena flaps her wings proudly as she walks into the bell house. You let her win, huh? Aspen sighs.
Sometimes it's better to just let her go. But I'm glad that she said that she'll help out. She's a mess, but she sticks to her word at least.
You two seem pretty close.
Oh God, no. We started working here at the same time, so we've spent a lot of time together. Unfortunately, you've spent more time with her outside of the bell house than I have, though. It can be a lot, but she comes through when it matters, like with this. I knew before messaging her that she'd be willing to help out. That's just how she is. Don't you dare tell her I said that, though.
Stepping towards the bell house door, Aspen turns to say goodbye to me.
It's my least favorite time of the day. Time to say goodbye.
It's not too late to ditch work and hang out with me instead.
Believe me, it sounds more and more tempting each day.
In 2 days. 2 days.
That just means I have to keep trying. I should probably get back to the library too, though.
Yeah. Yes, and don't let me keep you. As much as I'd like to.
We come together for a quick kiss. I like this new routine of doing that every time we say goodbye.
I'll see you tomorrow then.
Of course, you know where to find me, I think.
Good. I hope you have a wonderful day, Miho. I love you.
I love you too. Have a good day at work.
I'll do my best.
Aspen walks inside, and the bells over the door chime like they're happy to see her. I wait until the door fully closes behind her and she disappears from sight before I head out on my way. It's almost bedtime when my phone finally buzzes, startling me and almost making me drop my phone on my face. Lena's name pops up and I tap what I hope is the right button. Oh god.
Hello, I found it. Who are you? I'm hoping this is not a scam call. It's
Oh,
Lena.
me.
Oh, hello. Who are you? It's Lena.
Her face fills the screen, making it pretty easy to see who it is. I wiggle the phone around, trying to make it point at my face. Problem is, it's reversed, so I keep confusing myself. How does Aspen use this thing so much? Hi, I see you. Can you see me?
Wait, there's supposed to be video on here? Whoa! There is! I can see you! Hi!
She waves at the camera with her free hand. I have to sit up to do the same thing. Thanks for calling. This is gonna be a big help.
Help with what? Oh, yeah, no problem. Sorry, who? You know, I'd be totally upset if people couldn't remember who I was. It's like, hello, how can you forget me, Mamo?
It's alright. I'm pretty used to it by now.
Who? Yeah, but still, it's gotta suck. I got an idea, though. I'll just call you like this every night, and that way I won't forget you, right? Especially if I don't forget to call you. Oh. This works out, I mean.
Yeah, if it works.
I think the connection's pretty good.
I really, really hope it does. Still, every night. Even if the phone makes it a lot easier, that's a lot of phone calls to make. I hope Juliet's phone plan's good. Forever.
I'm using my sister's phone.
Funny how that word keeps getting in my way.
Yeah, it's no big deal though. I mean, I'm always on my phone when it's not in a well before I go to bed anyway. So I can just make calling you a part of my routine, like brushing my teeth and stretching. Nobody ever breaks those habits on accident. Ever since I quit ballet, I have more free time to do things that I devote my time to and don't quit, like tennis and painting and picking up trash. That way I won't forget to do. Oh, maybe if Cyrus was on the other line, maybe I would do my phone calling every day. That way I won't forget to do it. That would be kind of funny if I did, though. Not like funny like the second ago, but like funny like ironic. I think that's how you use that word. It's a bit ironic that I brought it up in here, right? Aspen always tells me I'm wrong, though. Like, why? I'm being ironic. I can't be wrong when I'm being ironic. Like, actually, speaking of Aspen, ironically.
Lena goes on to tell me a story about work today, which turns into a story from work the day before. She goes on like that for a while.
Gave me too much power with this character.
I try to smile and laugh when it's inappropriate, but my arm is starting to get sore from holding out my phone like this. Which arms, idiot? Finally, she runs out of steam and yawns, switching into sleepy mode in seconds.
So if I forget to turn off my camera while I sleep, please do not use it to blackmail me because I sleep pretty great. Anyway, and I think having blackmail on me would probably harm my sleeping habits. Anyway, I just thought it was funny. I gotta go to bed now. I'm like super tired. You're coming all the way to Bell House in the morning, right? I'll remember you.
Yep, I'll be there with Aspen.
Who? Oh yeah, Aspen. Yeah. We'll see you soon. I hope. Well, I'll see you either way, but I hope I remember you. Sorry if I don't. Like, yeah.
It's fine. Thanks for trying. Good night. Please hang up.
It's nighttime?
I try to figure out how to hang up. My finger hovering over the screen like I'm about to squish a bug.
Who are you?
Fortunately, Lena does it first, and that ends the call for both of us. I lie back down in bed with my phone in my hand. It isn't heavy, but it's definitely a big deal. If this works out with Lena tomorrow, God, it could change everything for me. Oh God, again. I'm not sure if Lena really thought about it when she was getting to she said she'd call me every day. Every day with Lena.
Mm-hmm.
Same goes for Aspen and Juliet, of course. I'm sure all of them mean it when they promise, but there are really hard promises to keep, no matter who's making them, even though they're all willing to go through so much trouble for me. Odds are at some point, at least one of them will eventually miss a day, and then that'll be that. No second chances, even if we started over, it would never exactly be the same. With my other hand, the one that isn't holding the phone, I reach up and grab my necklace, feeling the warmth of my bead. It's been a big pain lately, but for such a long time, my magic was my most useful tool, my secret weapon. As much hiding and scavenging as I did before, it would have been 10 times worse if my crimes had followed me. Are those days really past me now? Permanently? Aspen's idea about stopping my magic is interesting, and I can't get it out of my head. Being able to be remembered by everyone I care about is the number one thing I could ask for right now. But will that always be that way? Say there was a way I could change things and make it so people didn't forget about me. What if it wasn't possible for me to change my mind later? Sure, it sounds nice at the moment, but forever is a long time. I keep being reminded of that. I tug my necklace up so that I can see the bead. It has a soft, white glow to it. I wish I knew what it meant. I wish I knew what any of it meant or how it worked. I wish I didn't have to deal with these questions and problems. Of all the forms for my magic to take, it had to be this confusing one. Gripping my bead in my fist, I yank my necklace off of my neck and hurl it away from me. It clatters and rattles as it hits the wall and then floor, lying like a snake in the darkness. Closing my eyes, I silently count in my head. 1, 2... There's no flicker or pop as my necklace reappears around my throat, as if it had never left. My bead hasn't changed at all, not that I expected it to. Sighing, I roll over on my side, not tired enough to sleep, but not feeling like doing much else either. This necklace has felt like a lot of things before. A comfort, a memento, a guide. It's been my one constant since the beginning. Right now, heavy against my pillow, it feels like an anchor. Like always, next morning I'm cheered up by seeing my friends and my girlfriend. After a quick breakfast, Aspen spreads out some sheets of paper on the table and Julie and I both crowd in to see.
I started doing some research on Gumiho. I found plenty of information that I thought was interesting, but I'm not sure how much of it would be useful.
Hey, that does sound just like me.
Don't say that.
I'm just kidding. Eat your cheese.
Good. It's always good to eat your cheese. As I was saying, it's hard to figure out what's accurate and what isn't. A lot of the specific details that would have come from Gumiho themselves, and as far as I can tell, none of them are talking. I couldn't find anything about memory or forgetting. Maybe it's self-explanatory, why not? Beyond that, most of what seemed accurate were things that we already knew. Being to change into a fox. Have you had any? Ooh. Have you had any luck, Juliet?
Yes, actually, I picked up a nice block of Swiss the other day. It's very good. Would you like some? I can break off a little bit.
Please share it.
Good. Here you
Share
go.
it, Juliet.
Yeah.
Not for you, not for you. Anyway, as far as the Gumiho research, I'm afraid not. I checked with books I could think of, and none of them yielded any more than you said. I'm not aware of anyone else around who might be helpful either, unfortunately. Of course, it's only been a couple of days so far. It's only been a few days since many things have happened, by the way. But I'll keep looking. We're bound to learn something eventually.
Keep looking too. There was one other thing that came up that I thought might be worth mentioning.
Oh?
I read a lot about Gumiho carrying a special bead that has something to do with their magic. You have one of those yourself, right?
I remove my necklace more gently than last night and hold it out for them to see. Yeah, I've had it my whole life.
May I see it?
You can try. I pass it to her and Aspen handles it delicately.
Pardon? What do you mean?
It poofs out of her hand and back around my neck.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I couldn't get rid of it, even if I wanted to.
The beads stay on.
During.
Am I wrong, or is it glowing?
Yeah, that part's new. I was in bed when I noticed it a couple days ago. I know it's important, but not how or why.
Your wild instincts inform you.
Julia says it so matter-of-factly, not like there's something bad or that I should have gotten rid of. They're still a part of me. My other self, no, the other part of me hasn't gone away. Even as I spent more time away from it, when I first came to Wellington, I still thought of myself as a fox. Now, I'm not sure how I see myself. But my bead and its mysteries are a reminder of something different.
That sounds promising. It means something is happening, even if we're not sure what. And let us know if you notice it changing in any other ways, Miho. The more knowledge we have, the better.
Yeah, I will. Once again, I think of Silver, the hedgehog, and her bead, which shone much more than mine. Will mine look like that someday? I wonder what it took to make hers glow so brightly. Maybe even Silver the hedgehog doesn't know how the bead works. If it was instinctual, then shouldn't I understand too? I guess I'll just have to ask sometime. I wrap my necklace back around my neck, popping the magnetic clasp together. Damn, that's a nice necklace.
One way or another, we'll soon know more about Miho's magic from your experiment.
Yes, I think it's just about time for Miho and I to head out. And by the time we get there, it'll have been a full day.
I'm ready to go if you are. You know I hate sitting around waiting.
Another thing we have in common. Although, alright then, let's be off.
Good luck, you two. Let me know how it goes.
Will do. Have fun eating your Swiss.
Thank you, I will.
This time, when we get to the Bell House, Lena isn't waiting outside.
There's always a chance she just forgot in the regular way. I should have texted her first.
Guess we'll find out. For what feels like the 1000th time in the last few weeks, I'm shaky with nervous energy. At least there's not any risk here. In the worst case scenario, nothing changes. I take the lead and open the door for Aspen, then follow her in. Lena's behind the counter. Oh god.
Hey, boss.
She looks at me.
Who the fuck are you?
I try to hide the disappointment from my face. Well, it's worth a shot. It's too bad, but at least I was prepared. I'm Miho.
I'm just fucking with you. I know that you're Nemo. Your dad's trying to find you in the ocean. I remember everything. You told me my secret technique would work. I beat Sonic Riders like 5 times last night before I fell asleep. I'll call you again tonight.
Aspen leans against me in relief. Collapses might be a better way to put it. I can tell she's thinking of the same thing as I am. Dealing with events like her trip home just got a lot easier to deal with.
God, Lena, you nearly gave me a heart attack. But I'm so glad to hear it that I don't even care.
You should get that checked out.
Me too.
Wow, it's a pandemic.
A huge weight feels like it's left on my shoulders. Not all my problems are solved, but at least some of them are. Still at my side, Aspen holds my hand and Lena's eyes bug out in shock.
Whoa! Wait! Are you two gay?
After giving me a quick kiss on the cheek, Aspen nods.
Oh, why, yes, we are. Much, very big homosexuals.
Whoa! That's pretty cool.
Lena looks like she's seen a ghost.
No way. You seriously are gay before I became gay? I thought I was the one in the bag, in the class. Oh, I read that wrong.
Like usual, I wasn't aware we were competing. But I certainly did win in this case.
Well, you did. I guess just this once, it's fine. Since you two are pretty cute and gay together. But I'll win the big gay next time.
Exactly is next time.
Not yet sure. But I'll figure it out soon. Maybe
Sure.
at a Sonic Riders meetup. I guess I'll leave you two lovebirds it's funny because wings alone for a bit. Talk to you tonight, Mel.
Bye.
Bye.
Her headphones in, Lena disappears at the back of the cafe, leaving the lobby to Aspen and me.
I do only have a little bit, unfortunately. Probably better that no customers walk in like this. But I'm really, really glad this worked.
Me too. Now we don't have to worry anymore.
Not nearly as much, at least. I'll be busy this evening, but I'll call you later. And I'll see you tomorrow, okay?
Okay, I should go tell Juliet that her idea worked too.
I'm sure she'll be overjoyed as well. Have a good day at work, and I'll try to message you if I can, alright?
Yeah, I'll try to figure out how to send a response.
Don't worry. I'm sure you'll have lots of practice.
I don't know if I can read.
I believe in you. You've been trying so hard, Miho. I'll talk to you again soon. But not soon enough.
Bye!
High schoolers.
We give each other a quick hug and then I head back to the library to deliver the good news. Like we expected, Julie is also relieved. She gives me a quick lesson in how to send messages, although she's almost as slow as I am. I spend most of my shift working, texting Aspen when I can, and looking forward to tomorrow. There's the friend routes.
Oh, friend routes.
Yeah.
Probably start this and then end stream.
Yeah.
I feel
Ooh.
like it'll be long.
Hello.
Hello. Nah, that was my partner shutting the door. Right next to my seat is the laundry.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it for us today.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We were gay today.
We were so gay. save here. But yeah, we're finally on. That was a surprise that we got into Aspen's route.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna go on Juliet's route.
Yeah, all of us thought we would
Yeah.
do Juliet's route. Yeah,
But
let's
here
see.
we are.
Yeah, now we're here. Library, gay,
Love it.
insufferable.
Oh my god.
They are such teenagers. Oh my god.
Holy shit.
Like, wow. I didn't expect like teenage-esque romance from this one. Maury just started streaming. Maury's playing Pal World. Yeah, Pal World. So we're gonna say hi. Like literally, she just started streaming 3 minutes ago, so we're good.
Yo.
Yay.
Yay! Right. So we'll be back again next week with more. How long? Like, how far do you say we have until the end?
I want to say like, depending on how, I think like 3-4 streams at most.
Okay, cool. Yeah. We'll do more next week. And thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll go over to Maury. Everyone say bye.
Bye.
Bye.